Harry, what's the opposition leader up to this morning? We just spotted him on a walk a short time ago.
Yeah, we're out at 17 Mile Rocks, Pete, on the beautiful Brisbane River in Brisbane's inner west. Here is the opposition leader here, having just done a lap with his local candidates for these outer western suburbs. And the opposition leader could have a spring in his step this morning because there has been a poll carried out by the Courier Mail which shows a comprehensive victory potentially for the LNP on October 26. This poll was of 1,000 Queenslanders across early voting booth exit polls in 10 different electorates. The results show that the Labor primary vote is at 30, the LNP 48%, the Greens at 9% and One Nation at 7%. We might just see if the opposition leader will give us a response to the question whether this poll from the Courier Mail, DC, gives you a bit of confidence.
They're not the numbers that drive us, Harry. They can't be. When you think about what Queensland's going through at the moment, we've got ambulance ramping at 45%. That drives me. You've got power prices that have increased by 19.9%, 3 times the national average. That's what drives us. 45,000 Queenslanders on a social housing waiting list and the lowest home ownership in the state, in the nation. They're the numbers that drive us. And then youth crime, something that's every Queenslander has an issue that wants to see resolved. And there are 289,657 victims of crime. So you would excuse me for not being focused on polling numbers. We've got a job to do, mate.
I just want to ask about those ambulance ramping figures because it's been hovering at about 45% over recent years. The government seems to have been throwing the kitchen sink at it and they're starting to show improvement, but it's in increments of 1% in different areas. You claim that you're going to bring that figure down to 30%. How are you going to do that?
Under 30%, and let me be very definitive about that. And we've mapped out what I would say is the most detailed health plan any opposition's ever taken to an election. And you're right, the government has thrown the kitchen sink at it and it hasn't moved. It remains the worst in the country. But what we're focused on is the front line. We're focused on actually putting doctors and nurses back in charge and changing the culture. We want Queensland Health for the people who work there to be applauded for what they do and have the resources and be put back in charge. And if you want to know how confident we are that that can occur, within 100 days we intend to share results in real time so every Queenslander can see what's happening in those EDs. And if you do that, that actually allows your resources to be funneled where they are. And we genuinely believe that there's a better way than what Queenslanders are getting. And in answer to your question, ambulance ramping will be below 30% by the end of the term. We have mapped out a strategy to do it. The government said it would be at 28% by now, and it hasn't moved. We've got a plan to do something about it.
One more question, if I can. Queenslanders are already casting their votes, but we haven't heard the LNP costings. Don't Queenslanders deserve to know, any Queenslander, even if they're going to an early poll, how you're going to cover your election promises?
You have heard our costings, and every single policy that we've put forward, we've costed to the dollar, to the decimal point. And I've never seen an opposition do that. And we've been able to do it because we are united and focused, and we've got quality people like David Janetsky as our Shadow Treasurer. Now, we are determined to make sure that Queenslanders know the days of rampant cost blowouts will be a thing of the past. And one of our values is respect for your money, and that's why we are committed to making sure that things are done on time and on budget.
Opposition Leader, thank you very much for your time. Well, there you go, Pete. The Opposition Leader, David Crisafulli, on a bit of a morning exercise routine out here at 17 Mile Rocks in Brisbane's west.
Yep, all right. Harry Clark there live with David Crisafulli. Thank you, Harry.